know what I think many people have issues with? The fact that Orania is succeeding in being self-sufficient. They seem to have a higher standard of living than the rest of the government-run South Africa. And I think if things were going well for the rest of South Africa, nobody would even look at Orania twice. So my advice to every person who's having some chest pains regarding Orania is this. Learn to own your own things. Learn to build your own things. Learn to succeed at your own things. And if you don't want to hear it from me, hear it from one of the most celebrated black people in the world, Malcolm X.
And if we can't do it, we should hush our mouth. If you can't do for yourself what the white man is doing for himself, don't say you're equal with the white man. If you can't set up a factory like he sets up a factory, don't talk that old equality talk.
That's some essential education about self-determination for many black South Africans. If you cannot step up and set up a factory that a white man can set up for himself, don't say you are equal to the white man. If you cannot do for yourself what the white man can do for himself, don't call yourself equal to the white man. How can you want equality when the things that you do show inferiority? Seriously, guys, those were words from decades ago, before there were even color TVs, decades before the ANC took over this country. And it seems that even in 2025, many black South Africans still do not understand the value of rising up and standing up for themselves. This is embarrassing, guys, very embarrassing. You think that you're revolutionaries by attacking what the people of Orania have managed to achieve, but really you're exposing yourselves to be bitter people that have failed to band together to achieve something similar for yourselves.
Right. Get off the welfare. Get out of that compensation line. Be a man. Earn what you need for your own family. Then your family respects you. They are proud to say, that's my father. She's proud to say, that's my husband. Father means you're taking care of those children. Just because you made them, that don't mean you're a father. Anybody can make a baby, but anybody can't take care of them. Anybody can go and get a woman, but anybody can't take care of a woman.
Did you hear that, foolish Ramaphosa? Did you hear that, foolish Malema?
Don't be lazy. Please, don't be lazy. Enzana bantwana SG, lingalali. When we leave here, sicela ukuthi nibe busy. Please. And I don't care whether you are poor or not. Enzana abantwana. Comrades, enzana abantwana. Ngizawukhokhela mna. Because siyayidabula a child grant from 510 to 1,020 rand.
Making a baby does not make you a father. The ANC has allowed and even encouraged people to make babies and make babies, impregnate and procreate with no sense of responsibility, making babies looking forward to SASSA grants. That's careless and foolish. No, it's harsh what I'm saying, but I have to say it. You are careless and foolish for making babies when you don't have a sustainable way, path, plan on how to take care of the baby. And I'm not talking about the government's plan. I'm talking about your plan, because this is not the government's baby. It is your baby. The political parties and leaders who encourage you to do that are fools, and you are a fool if you believe them. You are a fool if you think that you can just make babies and not learn any skill to uplift yourself and just demand to be allowed into a white establishment instead of developing one for yourself. I love you, but you're a fool, my sister. I love you, but you're a fool, my brother.
For instance, the average so-called Negro, he doesn't think that he can go into business and provide jobs for himself. And because of this, he thinks that he can only get a job from the white man, or he can only get clothes from the white man, or he can only get food from the white man. And we who follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad are taught that the same thing that the white man has done for himself and his kind, if our people could if we could be cured of our slave mentality that was indoctrinated into us during slavery, we would realize that just as the white man can do these things for himself and his kind, we can get together in unity and harmony and do the same thing for ourselves and our kind.
This is what should already be in our minds. As a man thinks, so is he. If you think that for you to be successful, you need to be allowed into Orania, you need to change your thinking urgently. If you think that you can only be wealthy if the white person you know becomes poor, your thinking is killing you and you need to change it. White people built railways through their innovation, frugality, and project management. We just want to ride. They built waterfalls, estates, and we just want to move in. Where is that drive and desire to build the same or even better? They built Orania, a piece of land that had nothing when the ANC came to power. And today they have a quality of life that in many cases is better than the quality of life in the lands owned by the Ingonyama Trust. The Ingonyama Trust beneficiaries are suffering right now on their own land with loads of money that comes from the government, and yet dololo, nothing really to show. Orania was as good as a desert in the 1980s. These people do not start off with a nice plush piece of land. They've turned that dry land into a haven for themselves. Now that they are thriving, jealous citizens and politicians are coming out in full force because they have failed to govern themselves despite the resources at their disposal. The ANC has shamed black people, really failed black people. Now black people demand for white people to let them into their establishments where they create, maintain, and clean. They found them peaceful and quiet, and here they are with loud music. Here they are with their disgusting dances. Here they are with their ill-disciplined children that litter all over the place. Anytime they get called out for their poor behavior, they claim racism. What racism? What racism? You found the neighborhood or the establishment clean and quiet. Now that you're in there, you want to smoke hubbly bubbly. White man says this is not permitted here. You knife him in his own establishment. But it's racism, ne? Nothing more but racism. While you're upset about being called out, you come across someone who adds fuel to the fire. A fellow black person getting emotional and angry about Orania, calling out something that really is of no consequence to you. You come across the EFF types.
MK Party Chief Whip in the National Assembly, Andre-Amani, went on an oversight fact-finding mission on the Kleinfontein community.
We hear that Africans like me, as an example, are not welcome here if you don't subscribe to the culture, the Afrikaner culture.
You come across the types that want you to believe that you should lose your sleep and feel itchy because Orania exists. Listen to this nonsense.
But someone who is influential is allowing for a whites-only establishment in this country. Just like someone allowed, or people, or leaders allowed for the establishment of Orania. The establishment of Orania, yes, though it was done, but during the democratic dispensation, it could have been done away with. And I don't want us to pretend that Orania could not have been done away with. Orania could have been done away with had we had the political will to say, in this country of ours, we will not have a whites-only place. Like we used to have a Slag Blanca's shop, or Slag Blanca's entrance, or Slag Blanca's venue. In this country of ours, had our leadership had the political will to put an end to the whites only, we would not have had Orania. We would have fought against the establishment or the persistence of Orania, which is a different conversation, right? Because it didn't happen. And now we've got an Orania with, by the way, which they have their own, they call it their own currency. We've had conversation with them on the show. They say that they've got their own currency. They've got their own means. They do not participate in certain elections. They have basically isolated themselves, and they regard themselves as an independent state within the state, or an independent settlement within the state. So that's Orania. So somebody allowed, and our officials have allowed for an Orania to exist. We've accepted that. Then how is it? We've got now another place called Kleinfontein. Who allowed the establishment of Kleinfontein? Because I tell you, it did not happen without somebody saying, okay.
What rubbish! Orania is not built on government land. Orania is not funded by our taxes. No black labor was used to build Orania. They only want to use the poorer whites for labor, which is great because no one can accuse them of slavery and saying slavery built the town. So what exactly is the problem here? If anything, black people in South Africa need to be embarrassed. Why can't we unite to build or buy land together, to build lasting companies as a group? Why do we only get united wherever there's a black versus white issue? Why are we only united by hatred? Instead of faith and the EFF encouraging fake outrage among black people, why not encourage black people to vote out the ANC, which destroyed the education system? The ANC and its babies have robbed us and have allowed our country to rot. These celebs want to seem like intellectuals when it comes to issues of white versus black. Why not encourage black people to be present and responsible fathers and mothers, creating safe and clean communities for their families? Let me tell you something. Orania is a shining success today because of one thing. It is popular today because of one thing. It is attracting people today because of one thing: the corruption, incompetence, and laziness of the black government. If the government was doing its job across South Africa, people would be content in their own little neighborhoods that they wouldn't even notice Orania. Instead, this government found traffic lights functioning and they're now turning them into stop signs one by one. How is it possible that traffic lights are getting broken and stolen and the police and military just can't come up with a strategy to save our country from the thieves and criminals that are looting infrastructural elements throughout the country? How? Go to Johannesburg CBD, go to Braamfontein, go to Hillbrow. These are all reasons why Orania is gaining all the attention. Look at the dumping spots, hijacked buildings, overpopulated schools, load shedding, water cuts, potholes. These are all the reasons why Orania is becoming very popular today. Orania started around the same time as democracy in this country, but look at it now compared to the rest of the nation.
Whenever the ANC, they're running out of shit to say, they always bring Orania, 2,000 people living in a farm. How is Orania responsible for black lives? How is Orania responsible for black poverty in South Africa? There's massive land under Ingonyama Trust in Venda. There's green land, Free State, under the ANC. They are busy transplanting squatter camps from the rest of the continent to here in South Africa instead of utilizing the land productively.
Instead of fixing all of the problems of South Africa that they have caused, politicians like Paul Mashatile live in waterfall estates and other secluded places where they are not as severely affected by their incompetence and laziness. Why don't you complain about the fact that the politicians mess up your neighborhoods and then run away to better neighborhoods? I mean, these are the people that you voted for after all. They are the people that promise you a better life after all. But instead of having a problem with the politicians, you want to have a problem with the people of Orania. Does it make sense to you guys? Many politicians, celebrities, and other people live in Waterfalls Estate. To stay there, you either rent or you buy yourself a tiny piece of land for more than R1 million. Why? Because you want to live in a fancy area. You want to live in a gated community where you pay thousands of rands per month for levies, not even including your rental or your bond. There are no homeless people there. No criminals allowed to come in and mug you. The roads and the infrastructure are maintained there. You are somehow protected from the consequences of the ANC's corruption and incompetence within their state. The people living there are there because they can afford it. There is clearly discrimination of another kind going on. Discrimination on financial grounds. No one will build a mkuku or start an informal settlement there. You are not allowed in there unless your money allows you to buy into the scheme. This is the same case for many of the complexes in the country. But since Orania is for Afrikaners, you have to get offended as if Orania is in charge of the government. You want to get offended as if Orania is Mahlamba Ndlovu, as if Orania eats pap at your house, as if Orania is the reason why you are unemployed. Fellow South Africans, Orania is not in charge of clinics and schools. It does not collect any of your your taxes. It is not responsible for the poor infrastructure that is collapsing everywhere. Instead of focusing your anger and your attention on them, redirect it to those that your taxes are paying to serve you. Those that steal from you instead of serving you, even though they've taken an oath to serve you. There's just too much misdirected anger here, guys. Like, seriously now. If Orania is racist, then let them be racist as long as they pay their taxes. They chose to live together as a community according to their rules. It is their private property and it is their right. Just leave them alone. Let them do as they please. How does it affect you? You direct your attention to the issues that concern you. Your fellow black men and women are stealing from you. They're taken to court. Their cases get postponed until the charges are dropped, and they continue living the good life at your cost. Children are dying crossing flooded rivers. Women are sexually assaulted on their long walk from faraway clinics. Taxes meant to feed children through feeding schemes are being stolen, and the children's growth is being stunted. You're not addressing all of that. You're not voting those traitors out. Instead, here you are focusing on a small group of white people and their private property. You're high. Have some shame, guys. Stop this thing of saying play with us. Let us build next to you. Let our children play together. That is a serious inferiority complex. Build your own things. You don't want to vote the ANC and its babies out, yet you want a piece of what the ANC has not contaminated. Does that make sense to you? Why are you trying to force people to open up their little town to your backward mentality? You won't vote out the comrades, but you want to live among the white people that you hate. Why? Because the white people establishments are more to your liking, ne? They should suffer like all of us. White people should not have nice things for themselves, ne? Orania started as a farm or village. It is now a town. There's no crime, there are efficiencies. They may be racist, but if they're being racist in their own property, what is the problem? Leave them alone. Stay away from them as they're racist. Build your own things. If you can't, then you are as pathetic and useless as a racist think you are. I mean, even a dog with no master will go and find its own food. Set a dog loose and it will make a plan. What are we doing? We want to live on handouts? We wait for the useless ANC to deliver, and when they fail to deliver, we don't punish them by voting them out. What nonsense is that? Let's reflect, guys, and correct where we have been going wrong. The ANC has failed you over and over. Now many of you are even considering Zuma again. And when he fails you again, what are you going to do? Want a piece of Orania? It is time we start taking charge of our lives. Let's step up. Let's join forces. Those of us who are strong-willed, those of us who say no to this poor, dirty culture of baby making with no end, those of us who want to establish great things, let's band together. Those of us who value competence, morality, and honesty. Those of us who want to vote the ANC and its babies out. Let us stop this nonsense of being offended by people who have chosen their own paths, and let's create our own paths. Remember that the failures of governance are likely going to create even more Oranias. Most people would have never gone to Orania if South Africa was successfully run. If they don't commit crimes, if they pay their taxes, then leave them alone and let them do what they want to do on their land. They build their town with no government taxes, with nothing of yours, so leave them alone. Discrimination is there in many forms in this country and across the world. I discriminate on who I allow to be my friends. I discriminate on who I allow my children to play with. My husband does the same. And because we are tired of being neighbors to ladies of the night, drug dealers, shebeens, and noisy people, we have decided that we are going to discriminate on who we allow to be our neighbors. Our dream is to buy our own piece of land with a few hectares where we decide who enters or lives there. Anyone who does not meet our criteria will not be allowed. We will not choose based on race, but we will choose based on culture. No one wants to live next to places like KwaMashu, places like Turffontein and Rosettenville, which was so beautiful when I was younger and are so gross today. So why stress ourselves? Rather go find a piece of land and move away from those that don't match what we want. I repeat, fellow South Africans, stop trying to force white people to play with you. Stop trying to beg white people to allow you into Orania or any of their establishments. It is not a government establishment. It is not yours. It is theirs. Build your own things and have a bit of shame. Okay, Why do you want to force people to suffer incompetence of the comrades when you are failing to band together to vote the ANC out? Anyway, that's it for today. Please share this video far and wide with anyone that you know who has funny feelings regarding Orania. Please like the video and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. I'm Katlego. This is Citizen Concerned, and until next time, beware of the comrades.